My name is Bongani. I'm the CEO of HDI Youth Consultants, and I'm from Johannesburg, SA. So HDI is a leading youth consultancy on the continent. We focus on making brands and businesses future-proof themselves. As you know that Africa is a young continent, and how do these businesses and brands survive and have impact in the future? That's what we do. This morning when I spoke, I said most businesses, and I think even with us, we always focus on what is next. So it's about data, it's about content, it's about businesses. But at HDI, we sort of bring it back and focus on who's next. And that's the young people of this continent. And I think for us, it sort of marries the two. And as I said, we feel vindicated in terms of the strategic positioning that we've taken. I think as a continent, for Africa to move forward, it needs to be beyond Black Panther and Wakanda. It really needs to be about taking our space in creativity and on the global platform. I think we've got great creative potential coming out of South Africa. I mean, you see the work that comes out of Nigeria, out of Kenya, this work that Hans is doing in Johannesburg. We really can take on the global players, and I think it's very important that we're seen as independent, and we're seen that we're driving the agenda of creativity and making creativity an economy in itself, and not be seen as supporting business. Has to be everything. Clients more and more are asking us in terms of how do we measure impact, and you cannot measure impact without data. Somebody is not going to spend $20,000 with you or even $1,000 with you without measuring it, and data does that. So you first have to sort of find what the data is pointing to in terms of a business problem, and then get back to the client in saying, we'll solve this business problem, but we'll use the same data to show that we're able to have impact. And I think that's what's important for us. I've got a true belief that creatives rule, in that everything that we use now, I mean, when you think of the iPhone, when you think of Nike, when you think of it was led by creatives. And I think we shouldn't fear the fact that consultants are coming around. We should still be bold as creatives and still rule the world. And I think especially as Africa, we need to rule the world, and we've got that opportunity now where the world, as I said, it's not just about Black Panther and Wakanda, but it's around how do we as Africans position ourselves in the greater global creative conversation. It's amazing the fact that just meeting people in the collective, you meet people from Côte d'Ivoire. I don't speak French, but I try to interact with different individuals. It makes you see the world differently. And the fact that you can pick up a call a brother in Nigeria, and just because you're part of the collective, he doesn't treat you rough. You know, he says, no, welcome. You know, you can fly into any country, call the TBWA, even just walk up and say, hey guys, I was in town. Host me, this is what I'm looking for. And I think for me, that's what I find really helps. And also the fact that we've got global tools that we can use in terms of servicing our clients, and you don't really have to invest a lot, because in a world of data, you need to invest a lot in terms of products and platforms. And there's already a whole bunch that are available to us from the wider TBWA network. I mean, when you think of tools like Backslash, DLive, DLearn, all that is available to us as an agency, and we don't have to invest in it because it's already been invested by the greater collective. I think it is. The fact that this conference is already about the next, talking about what's next and who's next, I think it's very important. And it's always a conversation that we have, not only among ourselves, even with our clients, in terms of what is the next thing, what are you thinking about? It's a conversation that we have with senior leadership in our clients. So say, what are you thinking about? What's your problem? Where do you see, what would be your next problem? And I think for us, as a collective, that's what we see. I think for me, it's around the fact that Africa is a young continent, and these are the conversations that we need to start having with our clients about how do they future-proof their businesses. Because if you do not future-proof your business, you're not going to be around in the next 5 years. We've seen it globally with Toys R Us. Everybody mentions Nokia and Kodak and all that. I think what those brands didn't get then was how they were to future-proof themselves. So I think as a collective in general, and it's just not about HDI, but I think as a collective in general, we need to start having future-proofing conversations with our clients and how their brands will survive in the future.